Welcome to 2Pauls on a Pod. I'm Paul Stevens.
And I'm Paul Thompson.
And today we are going to go ahead and get into our first segment, which is called Savannah is Changing.
Savannah is changing, y'all. So there's been a lot of things going on in the city of Savannah, man, since before the Enmark Arena has been built. And man, look, the Enmark Arena comes here, Janet Jackson comes to Savannah.
Whew. Janet, that's auntie.
We got Janet, y'all.
That's why Jill Scott came too, didn't
she? And Jill. Listen, so if y'all don't feel like, or see that Savannah is doing something different now, it's becoming a different style of town now. Let's pay attention.
Right.
You see a lot of road work going on in the city, and I believe I said this before. Where you see road work going at, just expect there to be an upgrade in the businesses and the outlook of that community.
And then you also got to think of, like, they're putting bicycle lanes a lot more in the downtown area. Now they're starting to come out to more of the Starland district. So
yeah,
like obviously they are expecting a lot of growth to be in the downtown Savannah and Starland area.
Oh yeah, expected a lot of growth. And matter of fact, on that topic, with the expected growth in the downtown district, last night there was a city council meeting. I wasn't there.
I wasn't either. So,
but what it was about was the Waterworks Building that's outside of the Enmark Arena is supposed to be an economic driver. It's going to be remodeled sometime in the near future. It's supposed to be an economic driver for the West Savannah community. We have economic drivers all over for the people of West Savannah, not just the tourists that's coming in. We're talking about an actual residents. That's supposed to be an economic center. There were talks of a farmer's market. There was talks of a confectionery kitchen so that we can see more food trucks in Savannah, which is something I really look forward to.
Right, especially since it's getting so expensive to get a brick and mortar store right now.
It is.
It's better for food trucks to be able to have somewhere they can actually park instead of going to the iCults law firm, which shout out to them because I still love them anyway, but it's just that's not where I expect to go get food.
Right. And so let me interject this. The reason why we'll be excited about that becoming a confectionery kitchen because, I've been to, a couple places like Atlanta and Charlotte, and, there's a lot of food trucks in those areas. Charlotte, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Charlotte does a Black Food Truck Friday once a month, every month, maybe, given rain or weather or, different situations going on. But I believe they do it at least one Friday out of every month. They do a Black Food Truck Friday. They have a lot of Black food truck vendors and then other Black vendors as well. And I think that's something that is great. So if we can get that confectionery kitchen as an economic driver for the Waterworks Building, that would be great. There was supposed to be something like a farmer's market because I don't know if a lot of people know this, but I believe in the state of Georgia that all farmers markets are getting ready to be shut down. Yep. They're saying that it's a health hazard and that, they're working with big box stores like Walmart, Kroger, Publix, Whole Foods to allow local farmers to put their products in the stores. Good idea, but I'm not necessarily, me personally, I don't think that's the best idea. I like farmers markets. I like going out, meeting the people on a certain day of the week, getting my very, very fresh food. And who knows how much these big box stores are going to charge these farmers to put their food in the stores where it may not make sense. It may, but then again, there's always two sides to every coin.
Well, I guess there's also the thing, right? You can't insert fresh grown food in the area into Walmart and not expect them to raise the price on that food because you can't undercut them on their already low prices.
So this is one of these conversations that has many different segues. I'm going to say this. I'm going to try to get right back to where we was at. Mm-hmm. So the problem with that is I can remember as a kid, apples and oranges and stuff were cheap, and we didn't have a such thing as a Whole Food stores because every store sold whole fresh fruit, vegetables. But they have been put, and there's been a big push for the fast food industry as I was coming up, and we got convenience stores and things like that. So now everybody got, and like I said, I'm trying to make this short, and we can talk about this later on. Probably get somebody that is real good in the health field or has done a lot of research on this that can come on and explain this to us. But the fast food industry and the convenient food industry, not necessarily saying convenience store, but different restaurants and things like that. As they boom, people's health started getting bad, so they started charging more for all natural foods. So I could definitely see Walmart doing that. And then, like I said, two sides to every coin. Could be good, could be bad. They say they're shutting them down because it's not. It's a health issue for farmer markets to operate. I mean, they've been in operation for
long
hundreds of years, or at least a couple, at least 100 years, a century, not a century, excuse me, centennial. whatever 100 years is, y'all know,
right?
But I mean, they've been around for forever, very, very long time, and I don't recall hearing a lot of people getting sick from buying food from farmers markets. I don't know if there's some research out there. Somebody wants to drop that in the comments. Hey, listen, I do my research so I can be on point about it. But back to what I was saying.
Oh, the big stores are going to allow food in the state of Georgia?
No.
Waterworks
Building.
Waterworks Building. Yep.
So it was big city council meeting last night about the Waterworks Building that's supposed to be this great economic driver for the citizens and residents of West Savannah, and budget just got cut. I believe $5 to $10 million.
Yep, $10 million.
And part of this money, from my understanding, from talking to different people about this, part of this money is going to Plant Riverside. Then part of this money is going to a nature trail. I believe that would extend from, I believe, Tybee up into the downtown area, probably all throughout some parts of Savannah. But how do you get a trail from Tybee to downtown? There's no way. It's too much water in the way. But hey, we don't know. But we're trying to. It's something to be said because not everybody voted on that.
Right.
I heard that there was some strong rebuttal in that approval of that budget, of that cut in the budget. Well, Plant Riverside,
it makes its own money.
It has a lot of ways to make money. Like, tourists come all the time to make money, to spend their money and have a great time. I actually just recently went there for the first time. Like I said, y'all, I'm a native resident of Savannah, born in Memorial Medical Center Hospital, Waters Avenue. Went to Wilder Middle School, Hess Elementary, but I've been gone. I left for, over 10 years and I'm back now, been back 2 years. So some things has changed for me, as a, me coming back home. I guess something like a prodigal son or something like that. I didn't want to say it, but I would say it. But, my first time going to Plant Riverside, it's a very nice area, especially the JW, man. To see the dinosaurs and the geos, the amethyst geos and things like that. Those were beautiful. And to be able to go and visit that in downtown Savannah, my hometown, that's a great thing. I like to see more stuff like that. But they have those things. What does West Savannah have that actually feeds the community?
I mean, technically, not even the Enmark Arena feeds the community.
I don't think so. I don't think the Enmark Arena has it as one of their mandates to hire contractors from the West Savannah area, residents of West Savannah. I don't know if they put a big emphasis that they were hiring their employees from West Savannah,
Right.
or that they will even, give them any type of incentive at all. And if there is, hey, let us know. I know there was talks about what is called a community beneficial agreement, or a CBA. And this is what happens. I believe we talked about this maybe on the second or third podcast. So y'all go back and check those two out, where a business will come into an area and it'll agree to actually benefit and the area around it. But that's how it's supposed to go.
Mm-hmm.
But we have not seen that yet from the Enmark Arena.
Well, really, we haven't seen that from many of the big businesses at all.
No.
It's like the Hyundai plant that's coming has said that it's going to hire a third of its workforce from Georgia, but that doesn't mean it's going to be local to the Chatham County, Bryan County, Effingham County,
and Liberty County.
Area.
Yes.
That just means they might grab people from Atlanta, they might get some from Macon. It's like, but really, this is affecting us and everyone who travels down 16 going towards Statesboro. So it's like they should focus their hiring efforts on the Statesboro, Savannah areas.
Right. And also in that, talking about that, they're going to have a large Korean workforce come over,
Mm-hmm.
very large Korean workforce come over to oversee. And I understand that, because when you bring a business from a place and you're establishing somewhere else, and you got people that's been doing this for a very long, at a high level for a good while, you want to bring those people in to train the people in that new area.
Uh-huh.
And that's all fine and dandy. But, how long are they going to stay? They're getting a lot of land. They're going to get a lot of benefits for housing that people that live in that area are not going to get. So these things were decided upon by, I believe it was a coalition between Bryan County, all 40 counties that's involved. And, I don't know how many residents actually knew that was a coalition from those 4 counties that was involved in, making sure that the residents were supposed to be involved or get benefits. The cities were supposed to be benefited from, the Hyundai plant being there.
Especially with all the tax incentives that the governor approved to even bring that plant here.
Right. So, I mean, that's kind of like the Scash situation we was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
We got to find officials that's definitely going to be resident driven,
mm-hmm. and advocates for their districts and or their cities.
Right. So, like I said, part of that money is going to Plant Riverside. Part of that money is going to a trail from Tybee, or however they going to do it. Tybee downtown. It's going to be a nature trail where it's going to be a nice green. You can be walking the woods, do some bird watching. I like to fish, but I don't think they're going to have no fishing spots. But if they do,
I mean, typically they don't, especially like most bridges in Savannah, it's illegal to fish off. And not that we don't do it anyway, but.
Yeah. But, we like to fish down here. That's, right. I mean, why would I be in a coastal town and then not be a lot of fishers here? Like, that would make no sense. We got too much water, fresh, brackish, and salt. And, yeah.
But now I'm going to make another complaint, and then I'm going to stop complaining about it because I haven't found any real positives about this budget cut yet. But them putting more money into the Waterworks Building would have also gotten them more tax money on the back end. I don't see where they're going to get this $5 million back from making a nature trail.
And my question is, what's more important for the people of Savannah? Is it the nature trail, or is it making sure that West Savannah now has a real economic driver for the residents of West Savannah? Because they've been neglected for a very long time.
And there's going to be that complaint, West Savannah looks bad, it's not taken care of properly, but there's nothing in West Savannah to keep West Savannah money in West Savannah.
No. What grocery store? And let's not talk about Food Lion and Garden City, because they're like 75% stocked on goods and foods and so now those and some time ago, not long ago, probably about let's say between 30 and 60 years ago. That's not a long time, y'all. That area was still predominantly black, and they didn't want for anything because they serviced themselves. They had grocery stores. They had the mom and pop restaurants. They had their own convenience stores in their own neighborhoods. So that their money in that neighborhood was being circled in that neighborhood, and they were thriving.
Mm-hmm.
But when certain things happen with city council, which is why we got to steady harper on, especially this year because it's an election year, everybody.
We'll say it every single episode of the
This
podcast.
is an election year. It's a lot of things going on right now. Remember in November, it's going yes, we got to get involved. We got to start doing our research. We got to start getting on different platforms and talking to people, our neighbors, and building community again, because some of the people that we have in city council, it really is hard to say that they are not for the community, because a lot of things are for the Savannah itself, the residents of Savannah itself, because a lot of things that's been going on and the growth, a lot of people are coming in from out of town and getting this opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So I would really like to see our city council hammer down and buckle down and, open up some doors for some of these residential entrepreneurs in here to get some of these places in Plant Riverside.
Right.
Work with Enmark Arena more to. I've heard that there was 520 wings in. You told me that earlier, mm-hmm. that 520 wings was in the Enmark Arena. But why not more? I mean, it's a couple of black-owned restaurants that have great food and great service. Why not open up in Enmark Arena a section for people who have food trucks to come in there? Like they can highlight them for a month or 2 weeks or of an event or two. I mean, it wouldn't hurt them at all. It would just bring them business.
Right. Or they have the giant parking lot, which still isn't done compared to, the plan that they put out but we're off tangent on that.
Right.
But, right, they have this giant parking lot. There's not an event in the Enmark Arena every single night. There should be maybe the availability for food trucks to go out there and park and get some revenue, have somewhere that they can be found regularly.
Well, that's what I was saying about, the Waterworks Building. If they put in the confectionery kitchen, which is budget cut, might not allow that, or it's not even going to allow the confectionery kitchen or something else that's going to help the residents of West Savannah, because I know one of the key things that was going to be in there was an entrepreneur center where people who wanted to learn about business and do business could come in and get resources and help and grow their own business, and maybe use a place in the Waterworks Building as their home base until they're able to grow into their own place and let somebody else come in.
Right.
It was going to be a pipeline for young black entrepreneurs for Savannah to get a great start. So I don't like this budget. I don't like the budget cut. I don't like where the money's going. I will be making my voice heard in November, because that's when we vote. Not only in November, actually, we don't have to wait till November to make our voice heard, because, like I said, again, these are our elected officials, mm-hmm. where we can write them, call them, email them, let them know that we don't like what they're doing and they need to do something different.
Right, or at least make concessions to where even if they're not willing to stop what they're doing, at least insert some incentives to make it better for us.
Yes. Because you just can't come with, hey, I don't like what you're doing. You got to come with some type of solution at the same time.
Because the city is basically a business. The whole thing is, how do they make money from the things coming here? I guess you might have naturists that come visit Savannah, because there aren't many trails that I know of that you can just walk. There are a few.
Well,
don't get me wrong.
You got the one over here. I don't know how far it extends, but if you ride I know it goes from at least from Lake Mare, and you ride down Truman, you can see the nature trail back in there, and it looks really nice. Maybe one day, I don't mind hiking. I like nature anyway. Um, I would rather. I thought they would have rather preferred instead of straight concrete because it's bad on your knees. They'd have put something a little different there, like some mulch or something. Might be a little more upkeep, but it would be more convenient for people who had bad knees, people that want to walk. Like they did in Daphne Park, they put a strip, a little small, with like 1.5 foot strip of
the impact mulch.
Yep. And they could have did something like that, maybe on half of it, and then somebody wanted a hard surface, because we have a lot of older people in Savannah too. So we got to be mindful of all the people that the many different facets of people that we surround ourselves by and surrounded by.
I mean, Savannah, technically, there are a lot of places where Savannah is not an inclusive area. Like people who are in wheelchairs, there are many places they can't get into. There are people who have bad knees. A lot of things are built up. Now, granted, we're below sea level. There's marsh everywhere. You have to build some things up, but it also needs to make sense.
It does. It does need to make sense. And then, also, like I said, how are the residents going to benefit from it? And do the residents even want these things? That's another question.
Somebody has to have mentioned it for it to just kind of come out of nowhere. I understand, the Hyundai plant, because ultimately, since this is like one of the biggest economic drivers we've had in this area in a long while.
Yeah.
That land was being used for nothing. Like, not even the free-range cows were using that land. So I understand it being used. I wholeheartedly support it being used. I just don't like that there wasn't more of a community focus on it.
Right.
And so now, I guess they could also say, well, small businesses like truckers are going to be needed for it, but also, it's very difficult to start a small business in transportation or trucking without the proper support, and that support costs money.
And I was on Facebook the other day, and somebody was saying they was thinking about buying a truck, and they know a lot of truckers, and the truckers were saying it's not a good time right now. A lot of people sit. So that would be a good opportunity for truckers in this community that own trucks to have that contract.
But if there's no incentive for the area, do we even know if they have, are they in the planning stage? Because, the Hyundai plant is kind of secretive on where they are on things. This would make sense. Someone should be in the city, in the area, on the news, on the radio, saying, hey, this is what we're doing. Now we're going to start. They built, or not built, they have the contract with Savannah Tech, where now they're going to teach them their automotive division for Savannah Tech now will work on Hyundai specifically. So great, I love that, but it's okay, what about the people who aren't in college? How do they benefit from this?
Right. And I will say that this is a great opportunity, the Hyundai plant, for young people to have a career in, but just don't try to be the person that's put the car together. Let's go for some managerial degrees and certificates. Let's go for some HR degrees and certificates. Let's not just be the workers this time in this situation. I mean, they're going to need us. Let's be honest. If they're bringing in a lot of Korean people and then hiring Americans, they're going to need Americans to talk to Americans. So don't think that they're going to have all these Korean people here. No, there's going to be a lot of Americans there too. So there is a way for, if somebody believes that they can get in. Oh yeah, there's a way. There's a way. It just takes a little bit of work, and we all do our work and research and some growth, but we can win out of this. Some of us should be able to win out of this. because we know majority of us not going to.
And then the issue is because there's so many like cliquish people in Savannah. I hate to say it like that, but there are people who are not going to look out for people who are not in their circle.
And that's
like we need to get out of that mindset. You need to be able to support anyone and everyone that is in your area.
Absolutely. I mean, that's one thing me and Paul have talked about. It's like, we want to see the table in Savannah is too big for us for one person to try to say, hey, this is my table, or try to hide the table. No, the table's too big. He has skills, I have skills. We feed each other different things. If anybody else I can tie into, a lot of people have been, actually how I met Paul was through Facebook and supporting him and what he was doing, him supporting me and what I was doing. And then we just said, it was like, hey, let's meet up and have a conversation one day. Actually, I think I was talking about Paul. I was thinking about creating a podcast and inviting Paul to come on there with me because I saw the value in Paul. And I was like, man, people need what you got. And if we can keep that mindset right there, like I see the value in you and people need what you got, or your service is top tier and people just need that experience instead of trying to, be the person that leads somebody somewhere. Just be, it's not even being a middleman. It's nothing to show a little support, give somebody a little bit of shine or exposure.
There's a meme on Facebook that I share every time I see it. It's a receipt. Supporting a small business doesn't cost you a thing. You can share, you can like, you can comment, you can tell somebody about the business. You can go to the business. You don't have to spend any money. You go there, people see that you're there, they might support too, just because they saw you there. So even if you're like, oh, well, my pockets are tight right now, go support.
Yeah. And we got to do this for each other, y'all. That's one of the reasons why, of course, other reasons, systematic reasons, being honest, systematic reasons why we don't see as much thriving black businesses in Savannah today. But that's how they kept us out of it, is we stopped our community.
Instead of supporting each other, uplifting one person and helping them like pull you up. Instead, I'm down at this level, my business isn't doing good, so now I'm gonna make it so that their business isn't good. Make it so that everyone doesn't do business with them. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. So, because all you're doing, how I look at it is, and how me and Paul was talking about it, is that you got one person and they got something, they doing well, and then just imagine if they begin to reach out to other people and pull them, attach themselves to them, and help build themselves up. Eventually, when you look at it, that one person in the middle reaching out all around them, it's going to look like a spoke of a wheel. So, what happened? Wheel got motion. We can't be squares, y'all. We got to have, everybody, motion is a word that, I'm older, 40, about to be 42 this year. So, and I'm not into a lot of things that's new. I like some music, but whatever. I'm from the 90s, the 80s. It is what it is. But the word motion, that's the word of today's time. You can't have motion with no wheel.
But then also you have to look at like the issue with most sports players, most people who make money overnight. It's not lifting people up by giving them things. It's lifting them up by giving them opportunities.
Yes.
If I know someone who's great at time management, I have money, I'm not good at that, I'm going to hire you to help me with my time management, not give you money just because we're friends.
Right.
Now, I understand there's some situations where that's needed, where somebody just needs a couple dollars to get by. But it's like, think of every football player that you've seen that started off with these $9-10 million contracts. What happens to them once that money goes? Because they've been giving everyone around them all this money. Let me borrow 100. Let me borrow 200. Let me borrow 1,000. They keep doing that. And instead of giving these people opportunities to catch their own fish, they don't become self-sufficient.
Right. And man, just think about this, man. We just had Nolan Smith into the league this year. First round pick to the Eagles, Philadelphia Eagles. We have Flage, who's doing great things in basketball as a freshman. And a lot of other sports talent here in Savannah, which I'm gonna say it. I know we don't get enough credit for the sports talent that we have here. We are a hotbed for talent. People just recognizing it. I've been seeing this. I know a lot of great basketball players from high school, my high school years, or great high school basketball players may have had went and got college degrees, but they did not finish out their college careers due to programming, and I'm gonna say it like that, because bulk of their life they live maybe in the projects, didn't have good examples, or I know this happens in young men. We may want mom's, father approval, and they not showing up to games and things like that, not showing that they're concerned about us. So we get angry and we fall off. So or we don't want to go on with the talent, so we just go into some things that's not good for us for the most part. I've seen it happen a lot, but like we've been had the talent. Now we're actually showing it and proving that we got the talent. People are actually breaking through, and I think I would love to see those who have talent and are doing great things, even if you made it and didn't finish or didn't have a long career, and reach out, talk to some of these young athletes in Savannah, because man, that alone can change a lot of things in Savannah.
Right. Because it's like there's a saying in the military, it's like when you're getting out, there's no one there to help you because the people who are in charge of getting out are also in. Mm-hmm. How do you know what to do if you've never done it? So we have these people who have made it to semi-pro teams, made it to college, made it to professional teams. They come back or they move to Atlanta, as we've seen some prominent rappers do.
Yeah.
Instead of staying and supporting Savannah, Slovana or Chatham, whatever you want to call Savannah.
County.
Right. Whatever derogatory term you want to use for Savannah, right? There's just like, but if you stay and help and guide the people behind you, that will in turn bring the community up.
Like that wheel we was talking about.
Mm-hmm. Just like that reel.
So definitely, man, we are proud of all our student athletes that have done great things out of Savannah. Whether even if you because even like Nolan Smith, I know he did some time here, and he did some time at IMG Academy, which was great for him. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to shame anybody because he did great things. And then during his college career, guess what, people? He came down here and ran camps for the kids. And that we need more stuff like that. I appreciate you, Nolan Smith, for coming down and showing love to the youth that that are like you and here in the city. Which leads me to another dynamic, how Savannah is changing. I was reading an article the other day, and I'll more than likely try to drop the link to the article if I can find it in the description. But it was talking about how, and we know this segment is called Savannah is Changing. Mm-hmm. It was talking about how there are more college graduates moving back to Savannah. So I believe that in beginning in 2020, actually the pandemic, really what happened was, if you ask me, during the pandemic and you were staying in the big city, you were under a lot of curfews and things like that. You're on top of people. Most of the buildings are skyscrapers. There's not a lot of standalone homes and land, so you can have have the comfort of your home and privacy as well. And they saw that Savannah did grow. And Savannah is continuing to grow. So, and it's a beautiful city. I don't care what anybody say. The things I love about Savannah is that we have 3 different types of areas in Savannah. We have the beach, we have your city area, downtown, and then you have your rural area. So whatever kind of lifestyle will fit you, you can pretty much do it here.
And you can also treat it like Atlanta, where you don't like the Savannah big city feel. You can go to the small city of Pooler.
Right.
Go to the small city Port Wentworth, small city Rincon.
It's small right now.
Right. Right. All these cities that I just named are growing. Just like Savannah's changing, all these little cities are changing around right with it.
Because the Ghost Powers just built a big facility in Port Wentworth just recently, didn't they?
They did. Or at least if they haven't, they're working on it right now. If they haven't finished it.
I think they ground. Yeah, it's coming real soon, y'all. So,
like, there are 4,000 houses being built in the Liberty County and Effingham County areas.
Right.
It's just like, there's also Hinesville. There's a lot of growth in the areas of Savannah. It's like, take it for me, for example. It's like I left in 2013 and just moved back last year. The Tanger outlets weren't here when I left.
Right.
Like, now, granted, we had 2 malls when I left. Rest in peace to the Savannah Mall and whatever they got going on there.
Who knows?
Which was bought back in November, and we still haven't heard a word from the people that won that bid.
Who knows what's going on with Savannah Mall? Y'all let us know. We'll definitely share it on the podcast.
And or if you know someone who's involved in the buying, or you had a part in buying, come onto the podcast and talk about what you're doing. Because the Oglethorpe Mall isn't big enough for all of Savannah to go to for, right? And the Oglethorpe Mall was the old mall back then.
Right. The Savannah Mall was the newest mall. And they built 2, at the time, huge movie theaters to support Savannah Mall and give it more money.
And one of those went out of business too.
Yeah.
So now you also have the VA building that's over there. So you have people from smaller cities coming to that VA. So it doesn't make sense that mall isn't in, like, here. But back to where I was going, it's like, I'm college educated. I have a degree in finance and a degree in computer networking. And so it's just like, I came back. So at first, when I heard you talk about that article, I was like, well, I think it's weird that college educated people are coming back. And that's like, oh, wait. I'm college educated. Like, right, my reason for coming back is a little different. Like, my family's older. I was raised with my grandparents. So, like, since they're in their 80s, like, it made sense. Like, come back, take care of the people that raised you.
Right.
And then most of the people that I know, that friends, also have older parents, older grandparents. So they're coming back to take care of that generation. But then you also have the opportunities that have showed up here that you can't get in a big city. Atlanta's already established in everything that it's doing after that Mercedes-Benz stadium was built. There's nothing new or, like, architecturally different in Atlanta that wasn't already there. Mm-hmm. Now, Savannah has, and I got to keep bringing it up, Hyundai plants coming. So you got architects that weren't needed here before now. You have people buying the old houses in the historic districts inside of, like, on the east side, on the west side.
Need engineers.
Right. You got the Gulfstream is picking up its hiring again. Even though they lay off people every couple of years, they're hiring again right now. So it's like you got engineers coming back. It's like you have, there are all these houses being built by D.R. Horton and insert whatever random giant custom house building company that's bought land.
24 Landmark is another one.
Right.
Or Landmark 24 is another one.
And so you have real estate agents, and most of the time they have college degrees in some kind of management, business management, personnel management, HR. Like, that's why all of these people are coming back, and that is another economic driver.
It is.
All of these people coming back are not only going to be working for these big companies, but once they're done, like, I started my own business and then we have a joint venture together.
Right.
It's like, once they're done working for these companies, why they came here for, they're going to start businesses. And those businesses, because most of the people coming back are actually from here, they're going to hire people they know. And those people are also going to help hire people they know. And so now Savannah natives, and not necessarily just natives, but actually people who live in Savannah are going to come up with those people that came back.
Absolutely. So, like I said, y'all, we gonna keep saying this over and over again. Savannah is going through some exponential changes and exponential growth.
And it's having some growth pains with that change.
It is. And with all change, with our growth pains. I know we were talking about gentrification, and I know everybody has different views on gentrification. My view on gentrification, let me back up a little bit. When I first started hearing about gentrification, it was a bad word, nasty word, especially when it comes to a black community. But then I began to see areas like Atlanta that had black leaders leading the gentrification, and they were community driven with their ideas. Yes, they did, create housing in areas that didn't have certain type of housing, like say one-story single-family home. Yeah, they started putting the duplex and threeplexes in there, but now those things are economic drivers for people out of that community.
And those new affordable multi-family homes are easier to get into in a big area that's already established that the prices are already high.
Exactly. So, gentrification for me is only bad if the residents are left out.
And so shout out to the Atlanta Land Trust, because they are one of the leading members. Like Atlanta Land Trust and the Macon Land Trust are like the leading members of making sure that affordable housing stays in these areas that are growing. They're expensive. And then Savannah Land Community Trust is also starting to work on that, and we need support from the different lawmakers and then people who need affordable housing, because without that representation of people who need something, how do you make it so that it's actually known as a need?
Everybody from the top to the bottom and everybody in between. Actually was at a Yelp event. I like to eat, y'all. Y'all gonna hear that. So, Bong going to waste. Somebody come through for us with a bong. I'm telling you.
Right. Shout out to Munchies with all Munchies. Man, I went there and got some oxtails, I think last Friday, and oh my God. Oh my God, I'll definitely be back. Y'all got a lifelong customer.
Yes, Munchies. Food has always been good when I've been there. So I went to a Yelp event here recently. Y'all know I like to eat, like I said. And I was sitting there, and I was sitting with a group of people, and it just dawned on me that out of 6 people that was there at my table, 4 of them were from out of town. It's not a bad thing, but I would have liked to see more residents doing these things too. And maybe we can, I just started my Yelp account, so y'all be patient with me. But I start Yelping for the black-owned businesses like 520 Tavern, 520 Wings, Munchies, Birds, No Sauce. Even with Randy's, but Randy's and Tricks, they kind of legendary, so they really do have their own name right now, as far as barbecue in Savannah. And I appreciate them too, because they fed me a lot of days, them $5, $8 boxes. I ain't lying, even the $12 ones. But so yes, we definitely do have to get in front of this gentrification. That's why we need to not only choose wisely who we vote into our city council, but also stay involved with them and they're our elected officials. Like I said, we put them in office. Like, we group up together with the right cause in the right way. It's going to be hard for them not to listen to us. Maybe not everything, but we should have a lot to say, and our voices should be taken into great consideration about growth in this city.
The last thing to go with that as well. Like we have these cash buyers of homes, like we mentioned in the last podcast episode. So make sure you go back and watch that. But the city should also make concessions for newer building companies that come from Savannah. So that way we can also like get this gentrification issue, which I have to put air quotes issue, under control. Because as long as it benefits the city is where they care. Those companies are spending money on lumber, on personnel, so they're putting their tax money at work, but that money doesn't come back to residents because now they're going to rent those houses out, not sell them.
Right.
And that money goes to wherever that owner is and not to the community.
Right. Absolutely. So now, everybody, we come to a very, very special part in our podcast. We are now getting ready to experience some financial and business information with Mr. Unapproachable, better known as Paul, the advisor.
There we go. See, I like that. So first I'll give you the story about Mr. Unapproachable. So apparently I have resting bitch face when I walk around. And I was just like, what? I'm like super approachable.
You say you got what?
Resting bitch face is what I was told.
Okay.
Right. And it's just like, usually when people see me, I'm either smiling, grinning, or laughing. So I'm not sure where that came from.
Right.
I was like, at this point, I'm just going to own it. So now I am Mr. Unapproachable until the next segment.
All right. It's Mr. Unapproachable.
So the last two times we had this segment, we talked about business plans. Mm-hmm. So now we're going to go to the next part. Well, actually, it's still involving business plans, but we're going to expand a little bit past that.
Okay.
So now we're going to discover, how do you know a business is for you? So one of the first things that you need to understand about starting a business is that it's not actually what problem you have specifically, but it can be a problem that you have. And why I say this, there are people who do hair, for example. Mm-hmm. They need to have their hair done regularly. Mm-hmm. Like, is it worth it to start a business to do your own hair? No, but if you're good at it, if you can make your hair look good and you can do other people's hair, now you have a business.
Absolutely.
Now, we'll take this even further. I am good at budgeting. Mm-hmm. I can do budgets for other people. So now I have a problem that I can solve for myself. Mm-hmm. There's a problem that other people have. There are a lot of people who aren't good at budgeting. So now this is a business. So step one, find a problem that you have. Mm-hmm. Step two, find a problem that other people have. Mm-hmm. Step three, find how to market it. There are a lot of businesses that fail in this step here. You can find yourself a problem that you can fix. You know other people that have that problem, but you don't know how to talk about it. Mm-hmm. You don't know how to approach people and tell them, hey, this is what I do. This is how I do it. In fact, most people say that you should have an elevator pitch. An elevator pitch.
Elevator pitch.
It's a 60-second introduction to someone who doesn't know you or may know you and not know your business. But you shouldn't have one. You should have multiple. In fact, anytime I meet someone, I tailor my 60 seconds to whatever they said. So, for example, if I meet with a business owner, my pitch is, hi, I'm Paul Stevens, also known as Paul the Advisor, LLC. I work with small businesses and personal people as their CFO. What I do is I help you budget, find money, and also find where you're spending incorrectly. So now they said they're a business owner. I've mentioned businesses 2 times in my pitch. So now that person is going to remember he knows what I need. And then also that also goes into the fourth thing. So first we have find your problem. Mm-hmm. Find someone else that has that problem. Market it. Sell yourself.
Okay.
Marketing how you find people. Marketing how people find you. Now you have to sell it. Because you can be marketable all day, but if you can't get past that point to where you actually get someone to pay for you, mm-hmm. then it didn't matter. It didn't matter how many people found you. And so you have to make your prices make sense for, I'm not even going to say it like that. You have to make it make sense when someone sees how much they're going to pay for a service.
Right.
For example, people who get locks, they're going to pay $200-$300 for someone to lock correctly, because finding someone to start your locks is very difficult. And if they do it wrong, then that messes the size up for the locks for the rest of the time you have them.
And to give credit to what you're saying is, when I first started my locks, I believe I started in 2000. I started locking it up in 2020. I got one person to do it, and I didn't really want a really small. I didn't really want a whole bunch of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I got that one person to do it, and I paid them what they asked for. But like I said, they did it too small for my liking. So, after a while, I had somebody else to come and do it.
And so now they either have to combine those locks, or they have to unlock them, like comb it out. And now you've lost length on them. So now it's going to take a little.
They were still twisties at the time. They weren't locked up at the time. But yeah, definitely had to have somebody take the smaller ones, 2 or 3, depending on the size.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I got these right here now. But yeah, it's definitely I'm big on customer service too, and I want to go to somebody one time, get what I want, and be able to pay for it and be done with it.
Mm-hmm. And so that's why you have to be able to make sense, and you're selling.
Right.
Now, someone who is good at that, who has multiple customers that can verify that that's what they do, can obviously charge a higher price. Now, I'm not saying when you first start your business that you need to be dirt poor, dirt cheap.
No.
Because you still got bills to pay, and the business in the first year should at least cover itself.
And talking about price, just one thing I had to learn as a contractor is people want good service, but if you don't set your price at a certain range, no matter how good you are, you could be the best at what you do, it will not take you seriously.
Mm-hmm.
So you definitely got to set your price properly for the market of people that you want. Now, if you want, people a lot of people come in, yeah, you get a cheaper rate, but if you want a quality type of client, you set your price a certain way, because people don't mind paying.
Mm-hmm. Especially for a good one. There was a saying that I heard on a podcast, which I can't think of the name of it, so when I remember, I'll put it in the comments. But you charge $5, you get $5 people. You charge $100, you'll get $100 people.
And they're going to pay it.
Right. Based on where you set your price point is going to determine what kind of clients you get usually. You do have those times where you have a cheap service, because I'm not saying only have expensive services, because that's another important thing that we'll cover next one, is having multiple services. But right now, just for this conversation, there are people I know that have paid $10 for a budget and have been the best people I have ever interacted with. There are also people that have paid $150 for a budget, and I will never work with them again.
Listen, I said it before when we were talking about customer service, quality service, and then client service.
Mm-hmm.
I do not mind giving you your money back.
Right.
As a contractor, I do not mind giving somebody, I don't care how much money it was. You find somebody else, say, hey, I got this guy, talk to him, you want to take over, but we done. So yeah, just some of the people that's probably going to be the worst is the people that pay the most.
Right.
But,
well, I won't even say that, because there's been some people where I've charged them a little bit and they've charged back. I've never experienced that with someone that I've charged a lot. So I might get rude people, but usually they still at least appreciate the service.
Okay.
There are some people who will get the cheaper service because that's what they can afford, and then they will still not be good clients.
Yeah.
So now, the final thing with this, so I'll go back, because I'm going to keep doing it over and over again. Watch this as many times as you need to, because in the portion of your budget plan where it says how you're going to make your money, this should be laid out.
Mm.
You should know what the problem is and how it affects you. You should know what the problem is, how it affects other people, How do you get to those people that need the service? How do you sell the service? And finally, how do you follow up once the service has been provided? You don't know how many times people have lost just my service, just looking at me. I have paid someone for a service. They did the service amazing, but then you don't follow up because there may be something that I need that you also provide that, one, I didn't know you provided, or two, you didn't follow up. So now I've forgotten that you've done this for me. And so I go to someone else who has marketed themselves as doing that.
Yes, sir. I definitely understand. Now, that's like the like basketball players to say, you know, you make the shot, you got to have that follow through. I ain't a basketball player like that, but y'all know what I'm talking about. So yeah, the follow up is definitely a way to keep yourself in business.
So just to recap again, and then we'll go over it real slow. First off, you need to find a problem, usually that involves you. It doesn't necessarily have to, but the best way I've found for business owners to solve a problem, if it's something that affects them as well. Now you need to find out how and who it affects for the second step. And that can be friends, it can be family, it can be business owners. Basically, think of it as finding a niche, someone that you target specifically.
So let's say target marketing, because I know that's the term that a lot of people use.
Basically, it's target marketing, but in a looser sense. You're not necessarily selling them at this step.
Right.
You're just finding out who they are.
Who your market is.
Right, and making sure that they have that problem that you have. Next, you need to find out how to get in front of that market. So that is called, it's considered marketing yourself. Now, you can do this through Facebook ads. You don't necessarily need ads per se. So you can make Facebook posts to family members, to friends, make a Facebook page, make a Facebook group. There are plenty of ways. It just kind of depends on what problem you're solving.
Right.
Now you need to figure out how to sell yourself. You found the problem. You found who has it. You found what they need. Or you found where they are. Now you need to find out how to sell it to them for what price. And then finally, after you've done all those things, you've made the sale, follow up to make sure that you stay front of mind. Think of this like when you buy something from Express or Shein or a local coffee shop. You put your number in, you put your email in. Now, since you've already made the sale, you've provided them a receipt. So now you know you have a way to contact them. You stay in front of their mind. I don't care if you have to text them every week, depending on the problem.
Right.
Because there's some things like cleaning a house, for an example. Most people need their house cleaned at least once a week.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to go to like getting a haircut, now barbers, typically most people on average are going to get their haircut 2 to 3 weeks. So now you text that person and say, hey, it's about 2 or 3 weeks since I last saw you. When, and you don't give them a choice, when do I put you down?
Right.
It's not being forceful. You're not saying, hey, you're going to come in, but you're also not giving them a chance to be like, oh, well, no, I don't need that yet. When can I put you down?
Right.
Now they know that, one, you've been paying attention to how many times you've seen them, because that is a customer service piece. And then, two, you also have a way that since you followed up, you can follow up again if they don't respond or if they schedule and don't show up.
Yeah, it's kind of works. I mean, listen, I'm frugal, but I got Walmart as my phone service, and every month they hit me up and say, hey, you know, it's almost time for your top up. And, you know, just adding stuff like that, because I can go with another phone company at any given time. It's just, hey, you know what? It's convenient for me. It works. And it's not that expensive. I get, I think, unlimited everything. So pretty much get what everybody else gets. They pay a lot more money than I do. And they constantly remind me before my service runs out to give me the option of whether to keep going or, you know. But they give me that constant reminder.
So if you follow those 5 steps, then that's going to either A, help you build a business that's going to be sustainable, especially once you get to all 5 steps done, or you can update your business and then make sure that your service is exceptional from now on.
Absolutely. So y'all make sure y'all go back to episode 1, see where Paul the advisor, today known as Mr. Untouchable.
Unapproachable.
I mess up names, y'all, sometimes, most of the time. But anyway. So y'all check in from episode 1 to episode 5. Catch Paul the advisor today as Mr. Unapproachable, and his business tips and information and financial information. It's a lot of things that I'm implementing in our business, and just from my personal life that I'm learning and growing from what he's been giving me. And we want everybody to know that first, we are not certified. I'll probably bring this into the beginning. We are not.
It doesn't matter where you put it necessarily, as long as you say it. And I also put it in the description.
Okay. Well, we are not certified CPA, so any financial or business advice, please go to somebody certified so they can talk to you and tell you, whether this will be good for you or not. But most of all, do your own research, people. Do not try to go and talk to somebody, continue to talk to somebody. I'm not saying don't trust nobody, but get some information for yourself. Do your own research on these elections this year and next year. Next year is national and county. This year is city of Savannah. Next year is Chatham County. So y'all do y'all research. We got some things coming up soon, y'all. We got some special guests coming on soon.
We got quite a few lined up, and all of them are going to be very entertaining.
Oh yeah. We got some new candidates. We got some entrepreneurs. We got some people from nonprofits to let y'all know what they're doing in the city and what resources that they have to help the residents of Savannah. So anybody that has a business or anything that wants to share with the podcast, please, the Calendly link is in the description. Y'all contact us. What we're doing is we send out the Calendly link for a conversation, and then we'll set up the podcast date somewhere convenient for us. So yes, we're looking forward to continue to bring this good news and information to y'all. Y'all stay tapped in. This is 2Pauls on the pod. This is Paul Thompson.
And I'm Paul Stevens.
And we out, y'all. See y'all next time.